It's Rose, and this week we are talking about reasons why a spell doesn't work. The first thing that I really want to talk about is intention. Intention is key to every spell and every ritual. Intention is that you really think and feel the energy that you want to bring out in your spell. And if you are thinking about something else that time, for example, you have problems in love life, or if you have problems at work, and you think somewhere in your mind about that already, during that spell, it's not going to work because during a spell, you always have to 100% focus on your intention, what you desire of the spell, and then it might work. If you think of something else, the energy will go into other places where the energy shouldn't be at that moment. It should be at your intention, just straightforward. Sorry. The other thing that I really find important to tell you guys, when you do a spell is not everything. And what I'm going to try and explain is action is reaction. So, for example, when you want to do a spell, you have to prepare first. You have to write down what you want. For example, write some words of what you want to say during the spell, what you want to use, herbs, crystals, candles. They are not necessary, but they do help to increase that energy of the symbolism of that thing. For example, a lot of green for money spells, and so on and so on. So preparing that spell already, writing everything down, gathering all the ingredients that you want to use is already creating energy, and it's already setting that intention into your spell. So you're already letting that energy flow into what you want. So preparing is also important, but then you do your spell and you set your intention right, everything goes 100% into that intention, into your spell, and then you stop doing anything. After the spell, you just sit in your couch and relax. No, that's not how it works. Action is reaction. Energy has to flow. And after your spell, you should do something to make that energy really roll into your intention, into the thing you really want. For example, you did a love spell. You want to attract love into your life because you feel lonely, for example. Just an idea. You do your love spell only if it's for anything, not for a specific person, because that's harming someone. Yeah, anyway, so you do your love spell, you did everything right, and then you sit down in your couch. Well, no, your lover is not going to knock on your door and say, "Hi, I'm here. I noticed your spell." That's not how it works. You have to go outside, you have to meet people. If you want to have a job, you have to really look for a job too. You have to talk to people, communicate. If you want to have money, work for it. And then maybe if you already are working and doing the action, it will flow into your life for some reason because you did your spell. So yeah, that one is really important for me because I see a lot of witches. I'm not sure if I can call them witches on Instagram, and they are doing a spell and this, and then it stops. Like they're not really working for that intention, for that energy to flow really into what you desire. And it's not magic is not everything. It helps. It's a good add-on on the energy that you're already letting go into your intention in what you want in your life, but it's not the only thing that you have to do. You are the key to your life, and you have to do the action to get your reaction in your life. If you're just gonna sit on your altar, do everything for what you want in your life, and then go back to your couch and do nothing, it will not work. Simple as that. So enough about that part. The other thing that I really find important is, so for example, you did your intention, you did the action and the reaction, you got everything right. And for me, time after a spell or ritual, I say, "At it harm none, so mote it be." This means that it shouldn't harm anyone else to get my intention, my thing from my spell that I wanted. For example, I need the money, I do a money spell, I got everything right, and at the end I still didn't get the money that I needed, or I couldn't pay my bills for I didn't have the money to pay the bill, although I did my spell and I did everything right. Why? Well, maybe you did a money spell and you find money on the street, and of course you take it with you at home, you pay your bills, everything is fine. Well, maybe not, because the money on the street could be from someone who really needed that money, who needed the money, for example, for medicines for his child, or to feed his wife who is sick at home. Who knows? But maybe that's the reason why you didn't find the money, because that's the reason why the money didn't just flow into your life, because it might have harmed someone. And that for me is very important. For example, a lost spell, I would never, ever, ever do a lost spell for a particular person. For example, you have a crush on someone and then you do a spell to make him love you or find you attractive. No, because that's against his will. Maybe he likes you already, but then he should come to you on his own will. Never do a spell against someone's will or without knowing, without that person knowing that you're doing it. For example, your grandmother is sick and you're doing that spell for her. Tell her first, because maybe she doesn't like the way you are doing the magic, for example. So I always talk about the people first, if like, hey, I'm going to try this, is that okay for you? And then the magic will flow. So harming none is a big thing. If you are going to do something against someone's will, you're harming and your spell won't work. The last thing, the previous thing that I wanted to say is, that's not English, but whatever, you know what I mean. The universe might think that you're not ready for it yet. For example, again, a lot of examples. You need the money. You're doing your money spell, you did everything perfect, you're not harming anyone, and then it still didn't work. Why? Maybe because the universe, for me, that's my God and my goddess, maybe they think that it's not a time like the right time for you. Maybe they want you to suffer a little bit more and have a little bit more money problems to learn from it, to really appreciate what you have, or what you already have. But even if you want more, you have a roof above your head. You have food to eat. You can shower. So maybe that's the right time to really appreciate those little things that you do have in life. And maybe they think you don't really need that money as soon as you want it. Or, for example, let's take the love spell again. Maybe it doesn't work because the universe thinks that right now you shouldn't have a lover. Maybe they want you to be alone a little bit more, to have more time, for example, for your spell. So a lot of examples, but I think you understand what I mean. So everything that we are struggling with, everything that we go through in life is a lesson. And if your spell doesn't work, it might be because you didn't learn your lesson really well yet. Maybe you have to go through the lesson a little bit more and really understand things before you can go on and do your spell and really accomplish it after you learned everything about what life wants to tell you at that moment. Another thing that I work with a lot is moon phases and what zodiac sign the moon is in right now. For example, the money spell again. You can do a money spell anytime. But when I do a money spell, I do it in an earth sign. For example, next October, it's the full moon in Taurus, I think. Yes, it's in Taurus, and it's an earth sign, and that's perfect for a money spell or for abundance in your life, because it's the earth. It's really about materialistic things. So I really work with those zodiacs and where the moon is. For example, is it a full moon? Is it waning, waxing? Is it a new moon, a dark moon? Before, for example, a dark moon is really good for releasing things. If you want to get rid of things, the dark moon is perfect. It's the 3 days before a new moon. So I really work with how the moon stands at that point, in what sign is the sun at that moment, and I really combine those two so that the energy really flows with the planets too, and that really helps. So maybe you did a money spell at Aries, a fire sign, and then it doesn't work. Maybe it's because the energies in the universe weren't right to really let your energy flow with it to your intention. So, yeah, a whole lot to say why your spells shouldn't work, or maybe you did something wrong. I always say intention is key. Action gives reaction, and as it harm none, so would it be. So, if you guys have questions or ideas, or if you had something that didn't work and you already know the reason why, please let me know and maybe we can talk about it. So, I'll see you guys next week on Friday, and I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Bye.